Today is our last day here at the Skirrid Inn. During our investigation last night of room 1 and room 3, we mapped in a figure on the SLS camera, captured EVPs calling us out by name. And once again, we made contact with a gentleman named Larry in the bar area. We definitely did not feel alone. We listened to the paranormal accounts experienced by both Lee and Jackie, as well as Mark's encounter with Fanny Price and the Tricorn Hat Man. Today we're speaking to Sue and Andy about their paranormal experiences and conducting our final investigation of the week.
The tea lights had been placed on the carpet in an ever such straight line, and there was a smell of perfume in the room.
Oh, don't move. Do not move. The SLS camera has just started mapping in a figure as we walked in.
2 people were scratched. Like, one was scratched at the start while we were trying to sort out their REM pods.
You always get that feeling of being watched.
And a weird light comes behind my back that we can't explain.
Oh, hey.
It's gone ice cold. It's sitting like on the corner of the bed where that cold temperature drop is.
And all of a sudden the table we're sitting at shifted about 9 inches to the right.
Just really love the place. Never fails to deliver.
Oh, battery drain.
Oh, you're joking.
No, the whole SLS is just shutting down. It's just drained the whole battery.
That on another particular night can be very uncomfortable in there because it's got an area, it's very foreboding.
That feels so horrible.
The more you go, the more you get out of it. And I think the more whatever there gets to know you, the more your response you'll get.
Jesus, what's going on here?
What's it coming out with?
It's just spitting words out.
What's it saying?
Everything.
Without any warning, the table just shifted a good 9 inches to a foot to the right.
Wait, what is going on?
We heard the door, or saw the door, slam shut.
Am I in your space? Am I in your space now? Sue has visited the Skirrid Inn on a number of occasions. She has witnessed several unexplained events which tie into the team's experiences that we've had over the last week.
I first became interested in the paranormal probably about 20 years ago now. I've always had a lifelong interest within everything to do with spiritual work, psychic mediumship, crystals, anything that's connected with that. I first became aware of the Skirrid Inn because we'd seen it on the television, and obviously the other groups that have been in here investigating. In all, we've probably been here 7-8 times now, I think it is, to actually carry out paranormal investigations. And each time it's been different. We've had quiet nights, we've had really active nights, and sometimes it's things that you really cannot explain. From my point of view, I think probably the experiences that I've had have been quite... I'm a believer in the spirit world. We've also had different experiences. The bathroom in bedroom 1, that on another particular night can be very uncomfortable in there because it's got an area, it's very foreboding. As you walk down those stairs, you actually start to feel like you're going into the depths of something. It's really quite unnerving. And I've actually found that when being in there with other females feel the same. We came here one evening, there were 8 of us within the group, so it was quite a small group. Some people that had never been here before, and we were actually experiencing quite a quiet evening. We decided it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, we decided to just split off into 2 groups of 4. A group of 4 stayed upstairs and a group of 4 stayed downstairs. We decided to come and sit in the restaurant, and the 4 of us sat at the table that was in the centre of the restaurant. And whilst we were sat there, we were talking and asking out to see if there was any spirit that wanted to interact with us. And during this time, it was very, very quiet, but although it seemed quite flat, there was still something underlying that didn't feel quite right. So we just carried on talking, and then without any warning, the table just shifted a good 9 inches to a foot to the right, towards the door, the restaurant door. So we both sat back, quite shocked at the time, but none of us could explain exactly what had happened. Obviously, we checked under the table to see if anybody's feet had been near that could have inadvertently shoved the table, but I think we'd have noticed if somebody had done that, definitely. And then the atmosphere in the actual restaurant started to turn. It became quite dark, became quite heavy. We did ask some more questions, and we had a few knocks and taps going on the wooden panelling, but there was nothing else significant after that. It just seemed to start to feel really uncomfortable. I absolutely love coming to the Skirrid Inn. It's one of my favourite places. You can have a good night here, you can have quite an unnerving night here. A spirit activity can be very interesting at times. On another occasion, myself and my colleague were sat outside in the main bar area, and I experienced automatic writing, and she wanted to actually learn how to do it. She said, "Could you help me? I would like to try and experience it." So I sat behind her, gave her my energy, was hoping that it was going to give her some sort of benefit to actually see if she could get the writing. Her pencil started to move, and with that we were looking facing the restaurant, and the restaurant door was wide open. As her pencil started to move, we heard the door, or saw the door, slam shut, which shocked us both completely, because there's no way that there was no breeze that would be coming through the downstairs of the pub. And literally as the door slammed shut, it started to get really cold, and we saw a black shadow which went from the door, as if it had exited the restaurant, out, and it went straight out through the wall. Whenever we've been walking back from the pub, we do actually have this sense of being followed by somebody, and I do feel that it could be this reverend that is actually buried up in the churchyard, who is not happy with women frequenting the pub particularly, as it's a very male-dominated environment normally. I do feel that he frequents here, and that he could actually impart some of his negativity on people.
It seems so many people are experiencing similar hauntings here at the Skirrid Inn. Mark and Lee are not the only two people to have made contact with the spirit of Fanny Price in the upstairs bedrooms. We video called paranormal investigator Andy to find out more. Hi Andy, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing very well, thanks.
Thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with us. Really appreciate it. I'd love to hear more about your experiences at the Skirrid.
No problem at all. So when we investigated the Skirrid, we picked up a few minor things during an evening's investigation. A few taps, a few bangs. Nothing which could really pin down to something which was definitely paranormal. At one point, I saw a little dash of light in room 2 across the fireplace, and my partner was with me, saw a shadow at the same time, which is a little bit odd. We saw 2 different things at that point. Okay. So we went up to room 2, and we decked out the place. So we had an audio recorder outside the room, one downstairs in the bar, one outside the building in a waterproof box, one inside the room, and I put a camera on the bed, and another camera was down by the side of the bed, and we went to sleep. In the morning, woke up and packed up, went home, and then checked the footage. And when we actually listened to the footage, we saw this big noise that was on the audio while we were sleeping. Played it back, and what it sounds like to me, it sounds like something swishing, like fabric swishing. Then it sounds like a couple of bangs, and then the sound of the ensuite bathroom, which was right next to the bed, opening. I checked that against a previous recording which had someone opening that door, and it sounded exactly like that. The bathroom door next to the bed had someone opened the thing and gone in.
That's really interesting, because our teammate Carl on our last investigation of the Skirrid Inn, he came to me the next morning and he said, "Do you know, I was so tired by the time we got to bed that I can't remember if I switched the bathroom light off, but I know I closed the door." And when he woke up in the morning, the main bedroom light was switched on and the bathroom door was wide open. But unfortunately, we were that exhausted at that point that we didn't have the CCTV running. So we didn't capture it. But it just validates that somebody else has had that same experience. Now, you also said that you had some very interesting activity on REM pods and things. Whereabout did that happen?
So that was downstairs in the larger bar area, and we'd set up the REM pods in the middle of the floor, a little bit away from the fireplace, as well as a melmeter with a temperature sensor. And we were doing some calling out, and there were quite general questions to start off with, just asking if people were there who enjoyed going to the bar, etc. We were keeping it kind of light and easy. Mm-hmm. And we started getting hits both in temperature and the REM pod as well. So there were two of the things were going at the same time. Well, not same time, but to different sorts of questions.
Yeah.
It didn't last that long, just enough to answer a couple of questions before it petered out. So we didn't really get in depth with who we could have been speaking to.
Do you think that it could be potentially the noise that you heard, the material rustling? Do you think it could potentially be Fanny Price, the landlady? Because she was known to wear quite extravagant gowns and things in that area. The rustle doesn't sound, it sounds kind of coarse, like sort of like a petticoat sort of fabric almost. So yeah, without being too much into it, it does sound a little like skirts moving as opposed to something moving the side of the bedclothes or rubbing the carpet or anything like that.
And often before she's sighted, in fact each and every time really, there's a strong smell of old-fashioned perfume, the rustling of a dress, you know, the dresses that used to make this lovely crimply noise.
After we went down to St. Michael's Church and visited Fanny Price and came back, it was a bit of a slightly kind of rainy day, but as I was coming back towards the inn itself, I thought someone was looking at me through the pub window, and that's kind of how, you know, that feeling when you've been watched. Mm-hmm. And I literally just thought someone was there, so I looked through there and there was no one at all. And I went into the building expecting someone to be in the bar area investigating, and there was literally no one there. So it was kind of half a feeling that I'm not entirely sure I saw anyone there, or I just felt like someone was there, or I felt like I was being watched from it. But it felt like someone was interested in looking at me as opposed to anything uncomfortable. The more you go, the more you get out of it. And I think the more whatever there gets to know you, the more your response you'll get.
Tonight is our final investigation of the Skirrid Inn, and we're going to be focusing on downstairs, the bar and the main dining room area. I have decided to do a rather witchy experiment. I have a blend of herbs and resins. Now, some of these include copal and some mullein leaf. Both of these herbs and resin are known for attracting benevolent spirits to communicate. So I figured, let's use a bunch of different herbs that are said to attract them towards you, to open up a line of communication, and see what response we get if I burn them in the Skirrid Inn's fireplace of the bar. I don't think they're going to particularly like that. We're also going to take some of the known documents that are framed on the wall in the bar, and we're going to put those in the dining room and place some REM pods around them. See if we get any response. Maybe somebody remembers their wage bill.
Tonight, MJ is going to do a witchy ritual in the bar area where I'm going to be taking some photos of her as well to see if there's anything appearing around her. Again, I'm going to be using the SLS camera to see if we can get anything mapping out. So I'm looking forward to that. And we're also planning on doing some EVP in the bar area and in the restaurant.
This evening's investigation will be centred in the main bar area and the restaurant. For me, I'm going to be quite kit heavy in there because I am going to be plastering REM pods around the downstairs area. I'm also going to be doing another experiment using the Paranormal puck. I will also have the Ovilus going, and I'll be also looking at the environment sensors as well. So hopefully I've covered the downstairs in the best possible way to capture something of interest.
Tonight we're going to be investigating downstairs. We're going to redo the experiment I tried during my lone vigil, where we're going to take documents that relate to the Skirrid Inn and put them in the dining room with REM pods to see if we can get any interaction from any spirits that relate to these documents. We're also going to do the bar area, and MJ's going to be burning some herbs and resins which are there to encourage the spirits to come forward, so it'll be a nice way of interacting with them.
Tonight we're starting in the downstairs bar area to see if burning the herbs in the fireplace will elicit more activity. It's time to see if any of the dark history and legends regarding Hanging Judge Jefferies and his hate for witches still has any influence on the hauntings of this pub. With our equipment spread out throughout the bar and restaurant and our static cameras in place upstairs, it's time to begin.
What's that mean?
What does that say? Akasha. It says Akasha.
What's Akasha?
Because it's
Solstice.
solstice bell. Akasha, solstice bell.
Homicide.
We were homicide.
Yeah. Raised homicide.
Akasha, solstice bell, raised homicide.
Yeah. You're going to have to explain what
just
Akasha.
Hold on. Just. The legend of the witch who was hanged for witchcraft. Akasha is the Akashic records. It is where everything is stored in the universe. It's what mediums tap into. It's within witchcraft and everything. So when I was a kid, I had a really interesting thing where I created this Wiccan altar, but I was 10 years old and I didn't know what I was doing. I'd never learned it anywhere, I'd never seen it anywhere, it was really natural. I was playing with things. And I'd put the different colors, candles for each north, south, east, west. I'm mind blown right now. And I put a white candle in the middle. And my mom asked me, what's that for? And I was like, well, I called it Akasha. Oh, wow.
And that people that say that's a random word generator, how many people would...
The solstice is celebrated by witches. Everything that's just come up, followed by the word homicide.
Homicide is, yeah.
Because she was persecuted for her religion.
And there's a bell
She was
there.
hanged at the Skirrid because of her religion, because of her beliefs. Every single word that's just come out of that otherness in a row is what happened to that woman, like her story.
Oh, that's so sad.
I want to perform a Wiccan ritual or some form of a witchcraft ritual in this bar to see if we can entice.
She can relate. She wants to do it.
Tonight we're going to do a bit of a witchy take on things, see if we get a response. The first thing we want to do is kind of get a blend of herbs together. These are herbs and resins that are used to attract spirits. It's sort of a weird way of summoning them in a way. So I've got some things here that you might find very interesting, or you might not like them at all. I've heard there's somebody here that doesn't like anything to do with witchcraft. I am a practicing witch myself. Okay. So over here I've got a little blend. There's about 24 different herbs and resins in this. And what I'm going to do is add a little bit of copal to this. Copal is a resin that's used for calling forth benevolent spirits. There's a random bang from out back there. Oh.
Okay.
I just felt something walk up as that went off. Hi. Can you step away from that for a second? Thank you. Appreciate it. Let me just get ready here and we're going to interact a little bit more. And when I ask you to, if you could do that again, you just go near it again to let me know if the answer is yes or no. I feel like I'm doing something really wrong at the moment.
Is that an agreement?
So these are the herbs I'm using. What do you think of this? Can you... Thanks. So I'm going to hit record on this recorder. If you'd like to talk, you can do so very loudly into that.
Perhaps you can relate to what MJ's doing. Can you relate?
I'm going to play this back. Okay, hold on.
You can do so very loudly into that. Okay? I'm going to ask a couple questions. Were you executed because you helped heal people with herbs and people didn't understand that? And this doesn't make you angry. Not
Yeah, it's a yes.
to do with witchcraft. Perhaps you can relate to what everybody's doing. Can you relate? I'm going to play this back.
So, you know what I'm going to do then? I'm going to burn herbs. That's what I'm going to do. Can you step back for a second? Just take one step back. Thank you. I'm just going to get this fire going a little better. It's like little copal resin crystals.
You're welcome to stand next to MJ and have a closer look at what she's doing.
Do you want to come stand closer? Come stand here and let me know that you're here by using that, please.
It's just said on the obelisk when you said that beside.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So if you're...
That's amazing.
So if you're beside, would you be happy for me to take some photos of you? Okay, I'm going to snap 3 photos. If you can stand next to MJ for me, that'll be brilliant.
Stand on the side of the table.
Oh, perfect. Okay, are you ready for this? Ready? 3, 2, 1. I'm going to take 2 more, okay? Are you okay to stand next to MJ again or stand where you were a second ago?
Can you stand back there and just let us know that you're there, please?
I don't know whether this is relevant, but I've just asked on the Paranormal Puck, are you standing next to MJ? Split second response, only one word, and it says killed. I said, is the judge here? And it just said soldiers.
So I know what that's about. The gentleman that revolted against King Henry IV, wasn't it? Yeah. And they used this for his wounded soldiers.
There we go.
We're on the right track. Did somebody use herbs to heal you? To heal your ailments? I know, I just got goosebumps from top to bottom. Am I in your space? Am I in your space now? Not setting it off again. If anyone else wants to come and join in, you might be able to see yourself on this camera. So if I stand over here, you can see me. Can you come stand here? Can you stand next to me by the fire?
I'd love to see you.
All right, I'm going to do this, all right? We're going to get some herbs burnt here.
Can you see what she's doing? You can take a closer look if you like. Are you still here?
Let's do that.
I'm feeling sick.
Yep. Are you making Carl feel sick? Like nauseous? Are you okay?
I'm all right at the moment. If it gets any worse, I'll step out, but we see where the green light, the green emergency light is, where you can see it's casting a glow on the wall.
Yeah.
I saw something quickly go that way.
Towards the restaurant?
Towards the restaurant.
I reckon we should go towards the restaurant. Yeah. Let's move our stuff over there. We're not getting anything on SLS in that here, so if you're seeing something there, let's go. Throughout the night, the REM pods keep alarming, drawing us out of the restaurant area.
Just goes.
Go. No. That's that way.
It's the noose.
Okay.
Grab a camera.
I've got it in hand.
Hi.
Hi. Oh.
Hello.
Okay, let's not. Who's here by the hanging beam? Can you tell us your name? Could you perhaps move that noose? With no responses during our EVP sessions around the hanging beam, we head back to the restaurant.
Jesus, what's going on here?
What's it coming out with?
It's just spitting words out.
What's it saying?
Everything.
Alcohol served.
Does that say?
Alcohol serve.
Alcohol serve, finally.
Decompose. What? Has ever done that before?
No.
Maybe, is there wiring or something that's affecting it?
What, must...
Move through.
Must be something in that doorway.
No, still going. Console, iron, bed.
That must have done 50 words.
Maybe it's just like lots of people just having a chat and it's picking up on that.
Okay, so 0.0. We spent some time trying to debunk the random influx of Ovilus responses. We think it might be down to the high natural EMF fluctuation, which could be causing the device to malfunction. So technically this
Should be doing what...
should affect...
Doing it, whatever it was doing over there.
Yeah. It should do the same thing. Let me get hold of Bill Chappell and just find out from him what the other possible causes could be to do something like that with the Ovilus. If there's anything else that's going to affect it, that for it to be able to spit out those words as fast as it did.
I'm trying to think what else naturally in a building could possibly, if it's not EMF.
Right. Well, let's get hold of Bill. We'll
Yeah.
find out. I mean, if anyone's going to tell us, it's going to be the creator of the device.
Exactly.
Why don't you come and join us in the restaurant area? Oh.
What's it doing?
I just had a massive spike on this right in front of me. While holding it still, it's not moving.
Wait.
What is going on?
That's the one underneath. So there's some sort of residual in there.
There's like a weird spot.
Like you could draw around it.
There. Every time you go near the noose, the trifilmia keeps spiking. To the restaurant we go. Every time we say we're going to the restaurant, we get drawn here by a REM going off or in the bar. What doesn't want us in the restaurant? Determined to find out why we keep being drawn out of the restaurant area, we head back to try an instrumental trance communication session using the paranormal puck.
Who just coughed?
That like...
Yeah. That was
you.
No, I, no. That was...
What direction did that come from? Literally?
Like... No, I heard it.
Oh, I heard it from that way.
Well, I heard it like... in this room though.
Oh, my legs have just gone pins and needly all the way up.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I've got them like...
You're right.
It's just like, woo! I am literally static.
I don't feel anything. Oh, you are feeling a bit weird. That is a bit weird. You're like vibrating.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I don't like your feeling.
Do you need a moment?
I'll tell you how it feels. It's very, very strange. You know.
Oh, all the way up my leg.
Yeah.
Oh, that is weird.
And you know what it feels like. You know.
When you have like a foot massage.
Yeah.
And you like.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sit next to you.
dude.
It's having too much fun.
There's got to be something here that's causing that.
Okay. Now film.
At first, I was unsure of what Carl was trying to explain, but we both experienced the strangest static sensation running through our legs. We spent several minutes trying to find the source. However, there was nothing that we could find that could explain this. We're not saying it's paranormal, but it definitely is weird. Shortly after experiencing this weird static sensation, we captured this light anomaly shooting away from us.
That is weird.
That was really weird. Something doesn't feel right.
Robert?
Who's Robert? I feel like they don't want us in here. The moment we've walked out there, the whole energy's kind of shifted to like, oh, they're in there.
Like in this particular room.
In this particular room. And what everybody has said is in here they don't feel welcome. They don't, it's like we shouldn't be in here. So I wonder, when this was a court, what this was used for, this particular area.
It does feel very separate in here. I know it is a separate part, but it doesn't feel like
Man, that
it's
feels horrible.
part of the...
That feels so horrible.
Did you have anything come through on the obelisk?
Yeah, we had 2 words that got spoken, and it said opening gateway.
Opening gateway loose.
Loose just appeared as you guys were when that when you walked in. But the last 2 words when we left it on the table, opening gateway.
And we were just talking about the fact that we were opening a gateway to invite communication by burning the herbs in the fire.
Absolutely.
Opening gateway.
Opening gateway.
There's a REM pod, that round device on top of it, with the antenna that you set off earlier this evening. Could you perhaps walk towards that? Let us know if you're able to read anything on those documents. We'd love to know more about what's on there. We can't read it properly.
Larry.
Larry, cesium, letter.
Cesium.
That's 3 nuts on the spin that we've had, Larry.
Was it about the same time yesterday as well?
It was.
I've gone icy cold.
My legs have gone ice cold. Ice cold. This is the 3rd night that we've had the name Larry come through the ovulus in the downstairs area. He seems to be eager to make his presence known. Could you walk to the bar? There's a REM pod on the bar counter, and there's one over here. Could you walk to either one of those, if you're still around here? We're just trying to figure out whereabout you're stood. I'm gonna stand over here.
Okay.
I think, and just hold this really steady towards that doorway. Where is it?
It's not the one on the bar.
I think it's through here. It's the...
It's the one on the noose.
Grab the SLS.
The one on the bar's going off.
The one in the bar?
The one on the bar.
Okay. Can you touch that antenna again for us, please? Thank you.
Shall we go back to the restaurant, guys?
Yeah.
We keep getting drawn away from there every time. Oh.
Are you getting something?
It just tracked something. Like right in front of me. That's right here. That creepy mannequin is up there. And it's not tracking it in.
No, it's not even recognising it, is it?
Mm-mm. We attempted to investigate the restaurant one last time, but the energy has shifted from not feeling welcome to really flat. Every time I walk in here, I get this feeling like we are not supposed to be in here at all.
Can you ask a question for me?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you want to know?
Is this room for men only?
Double.
To Larry again.
As this is our last night, are you sad to see us go?
I feel like it's just gone.
It's gone that like last night at this time.
Same time every night.
It just goes flat. You don't get anything on the responses.
Let's think about this for a second, because every time they have paranormal groups in this area, whenever they're doing investigations and things, what time do they usually call their investigation?
Yeah.
They stop at about 3:30 in the morning. So it's almost as though whatever's here or whoever's here is so used to groups coming in and investigating this amazing building. And it's an incredible place. But usually people would finish at no later than 3:30, 4 o'clock.
To get home.
To get home, or to either travel home on the night for the guests that aren't staying here. Those that are staying here, they might stay later, but then you're going to sit around the fire, you're going to have a cigarette, you're going to chat, you're going to go to bed pretty soon after that, you know? So perhaps it's just they're so used to whatever's going on here, and whoever's investigating this building has that call-off time, that cut-off time for 3:30 for a public event, so all their guests can still drive home, those who want to.
Yeah.
Maybe they're so used to that.
Which kind of comes back to closing time.
Yeah, exactly.
And goes back to what we got on the second night, when we got the response from Lowry and we saw the shadow going that way,
Yeah.
and it said, go home.
Go home.
So-
It's like, all right, you're done now, go home. But this is the time you're supposed to be out. Why are you still here?
Yeah.
That's a really good point. As our final investigation draws to a close, the team and I have a lot of footage and research to work through, but it was time to get some decent sleep. What a night. The witchy experiment that I did in the bar area really paid off. I put a REM pod on the table next to me whilst I was burning the herbs, and it went mental. It went crazy. Every time I said that I was going to throw more herbs into the fire, it went nuts. Oh.
Okay.
I just felt something walk up as that went off. Hi.
This evening we didn't have anything on my photos, but we did get a lot of REM activity, and it seemed to be we were in one part of the location and the REM pod will be beeping in the other room, so we'd go there and then vice versa.
Wait, what is going on?
So it seemed like we were getting a bit of a runaround. We had a REM pod underneath the noose as well, which kept going off every now and again. We went to check if there was anything going on, and we were hearing a lot of footsteps. It seemed to be going up the stairs and around the area upstairs as well. Again, we were getting the runaround. Overall, it was a really good night. Nothing really visually, which I'm a little bit disappointed with, but still, the Skirrid Inn is awesome and I've had the best time.
We've just concluded our last night of investigation at the Skirrid Inn. I'm a bit blown away from what has happened over this evening. Once MJ started to do her witchy work in the main bar, I was getting hits on the paranormal puck from the same person that we were speaking to the night before. They all of a sudden stopped. He then went very quiet while MJ was continuing doing her ritual. But one of the weirdest moments for me personally was when we were walking into the restaurant. In the doorway, I was getting incredibly high spikes on the EMF, like really high, but also the ovilus that I had in my hand at the time suddenly started spouting all these words, and it was continuously, and it wouldn't stop.
Alcohol serve finally.
Decompose.
Project. Year.
What?
Dog. Single.
Has ever done that before?
No! I've never seen that bit of equipment work like that in the past. I need to do a bit more investigation and maybe speak to Bill Chappell to see if he can explain what was going on with that device. The Skirrid Inn has lived up to what I always knew it was, an incredible location. It never fails to impress me of the plethora of activity that you capture when you investigate. But having the opportunity to spend 7 days sleeping, investigating and just enveloping yourself in the atmosphere of the inn has been amazing, and I can't wait to come back.
Tonight's investigation fascinated me with the interaction that we were getting on the REM pods. We did the experiment with the documents in the dining room and we got some interaction on there. But when we moved into the bar area and we were doing the witchy experiments, to start off with, as MJ was adding the herbs and the resin, the nearest REM pod to her was reacting as if it was enjoying what we were doing. But then we had another REM pod under the hanging rope, and when this went off, it was almost like it was trying to draw us away to stop us from what we were doing. So I wonder if we had two people like interacting with us. Overall, I think this was one of our best investigations we've had all week, and it was a nice way to complete the week of investigations, and I can't wait to start going through the footage and seeing what we've actually captured.
This week at the Skirrid Inn has been nothing short of incredible. The history and folklore of this wonderful old inn make you feel as though you've stepped back in time. The numerous stories of paranormal activity definitely have some truth to them. Over the last few days, my team and I captured several Class A full-sentence EVPs. We witnessed the shadow figures and captured strange balls of light and a figure on our thermal imaging camera. We mapped in a figure on the staircase on our SLS camera in the exact same spot where numerous people have captured apparitions in their photographs. We were physically affected, and not once did we ever feel as though we were alone. From Jeff's warm welcome and hospitality to the incredible paranormal activity, the Skirrid Inn remains one of our favourite and most haunted locations we have ever investigated. We'll certainly be returning soon.